The crew here at SnowTrax get to go to a lot of very unique and interesting places each season. And while we love a new destination, the truth is, there's no place like home. And for us, home is the Ontario Highlands. With a broad reach in eastern Ontario, this region spans from Haliburton, northeast to Pembroke, and south of Algonquin Park. It offers some of the most diverse riding terrain in all of Ontario and access to the nearly 30,000 kilometers of OFSC maintained trails. We've done many stories over the years on riding the Ontario Highlands, but there are two that I truly believe capture the essence of why we love this area so much. And the first is all about lakes.
Ontario really is a unique place geographically. The amount of lakes we have and how tightly packed together they are make this the ultimate playground for lake running. The other thing about it is that there's such a great trail system that intertwines between the lakes that if a lake is unsafe, you can choose not to run it, and there's definitely a way around it. On top of that, a lot of the trails between lakes are groomed in many cases, so you can run a smooth lake that's 100 feet wide and 100 miles an hour, hit a perfectly groomed trail, run that to the next superhighway lake, and do that all day long. So there's no better place in North America, in my opinion, than Ontario if you want to run big lakes, run them fast, run them safe, and just have a blast out in the open. Researching the area you're going to ride is important because you might miss some unique places or epic scenery that could be right around the corner. Getting to these places, getting off your sleds, and taking the time to enjoy them is a huge part of the adventure of lake running. In our area in Ontario, there are so many unique places and amazing sights, it would be a shame to just blast right by.
That cottage, I think, is actually still on one of the lakes here.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so, seriously. I think it's over at the S-Bend in the Narrows where we drove by there.
Oh.
That's pretty sweet. So I guess if they rebuilt it in 48...
Oh, check out the original photo.
Yeah, that's
1920.
1920.
Do you think that leaked a little bit through those cracks?
The terrain available in Ontario can be so diverse. You can run lakes in the middle of nowhere where you won't see a single person, no houses, no cottages. It's just you and the wilderness. Or you can run lakes where the shorelines are littered with cottages and there's everything you need available. Gas stations, restaurants, lodges, pretty much anything at all.
While the Ontario Highlands does offer incredible lake running, there's arguably the best trails in all of Ontario here as well, and enough of them to keep you not just riding for days, but weeks without seeing the same trail twice.
When the average sledder thinks about riding in Northern Ontario, the route most commonly thought of to get to the trails is referred to as the Highway 11 corridor. It's the most direct route north from the largest population base in the GTA and the busiest border crossings from the US. It also ends at and takes you through some of the very best riding in Ontario. So it's no surprise many Southern riders or US sledders have never considered another route or region to ride in. The truth is, limiting yourself to this route north is keeping you from experiencing what we feel are some of the best, most well-kept, and most scenic trails in the entire province. No one can guarantee snow, but if you had to place your bets on where snow's likely going to be, Ontario Highlands would be a pretty safe one. They have historically got higher than average snowfalls and some of the biggest snowfalls in the province for the past 10 years. Ontario's Highland stretches from midway through Algonquin Park at the top, as far west as Huntsville, and as far south as Minden and Kinmount, and all the way east to the Ottawa Valley. The trails here are wide, they're fast, and they're impeccably kept.
the local clubs really are dedicated to a routine of making sure these trails are groomed to perfection, and we get an abundance of snow as well, so it's a very enjoyable ride.
I really do enjoy riding on these trails. I really don't like riding on bumpy trails 90 miles in a day. The scenery up here is just beautiful, and it's really only a few hours from home, and when we get here, we enjoy the trails. We need to do this at least once a month. I know Harold likes to do it more, just so we don't go crazy.
Through this trip, I've been so impressed by how these trails are maintained by the local clubs. We may have been riding midweek, but we were literally the first sleds on fresh groomed trails pretty much all the way into Spectacle Lake Lodge. I've stayed at Spectacle Lake Lodge a few times in the past, and this place caters to pretty much any outdoor enthusiast, from skiers and snowshoers, hikers, ice fishermen, ATVers, and of course, us snowmobilers. If a rustic but nice atmosphere is what you're after, I'd say Spectacle Lodge is where you need to stay. Since Spectacle Lake Lodge is right on the trail, we got an early start in the morning. The route to Pembroke is only another 90 or 100 miles or so, and this section of the trip consists of more abandoned rail lines and logging roads with some bush trails mixed in. The trails in the Ontario Highlands regions are wide and fast. Signage is excellent, and the OFSC mapping of this area is also top-notch, so you never feel like you're lost or you don't know where you are. And this gives added confidence to riders unfamiliar with this area to know that they're not going to be lost or get lost on the trail or not know where they are at any time. In Pembroke, the trails are tighter with a mix of farmers' fields, rail lines, ditches, and typical bush trails. Signage around the town is also excellent, which is very important because there are physically more trails around town, so having adequate signage means you won't get lost on your way to the hotel. In Pembroke, we always stay at the Best Western for a couple reasons. It's clean, it's got a big, well-lit parking lot, and most importantly, it's directly off the trail and has a gas station right across the road. The ride from Barry's Bay to Pembroke was pretty easy, so we got in really good time mid-afternoon, and that gave us lots of time to get unpacked, cleaned up, and then get out for a decent dinner in town.
Having grown up in Pembroke quite a few years ago, Pembroke has grown to embrace snowmobiling. It's a great town, restaurants, accommodation, everything you could possibly want. A real comfortable stop on your stay, particularly if you're going around Algonquin Park. Depending where you're arriving from, Pembroke could also be a great destination to start your trip from, in that you could do this same trip that we've done in reverse, including Whitney, doing any number of circles out of the Pembroke area.
The Ontario Highlands truly offers diversity when it comes to riding terrain, scenery, and levels of accommodation, making it the perfect choice for your bucket list of must-ride destinations. If you enjoyed the video that you just saw, like it and then subscribe to our page for more great content from SnowTracks TV.